The global pandemic disease with the name of coronavirus have already affected more than 600,000 people in the world, and the spread of this disease have brought about chaos not only on the social community life but also in our economies. We are experiencing big shifts in terms of stock markets, pension investment, individual saving accounts. So the coronavirus comes with a lot of impact, more of which arise from efforts of different countries or different communities to contain the disease. So on my side, I'll just explain with three major aspects of what we might experience in the next few days or next few weeks, or we have already experienced this aspect at this time of the moment. So there is first thing we're gonna experience, so we might experience the shift of the demand side, the shift of supply side, and global economic recession. I'm gonna explain one aspect after the other, starting with aspect number one, the shift of demand side or change in demand. From an economic term, it is an increase or decrease in demand due to change in all other factors affecting demand or purchasing power of the people, but not price factor. These factors can be income, can be price of substitutes of a commodity, population, environmental factor, change in economic business cycle, natural calamity factor. But in our current situation, the pandemic disease that has emerged, the coronavirus, shift of demand side or change in demand, we see two scenarios: the increase in demand of inferior goods and decrease in demand for luxurious goods. Inferior goods, these are the goods that their demand increases when the income level of an individual decreases, and luxurious goods, these are goods which are no necessity or not essential. Normally people purchase this good just for wealthy status. So luxurious goods, these are the goods in the market that their demand increases when the income level of an individual increases. So example, inferior goods, we are talking about food supplies, the cheap staples, the cheap groceries. On our current situation, food supplies and home supplies at the current time of point, they are being highly demanded in the market due to helping people to survive during the quarantine. The luxurious goods involve luxurious cars, luxurious tours, going to different countries, different hotels. You're talking about the mortgages, you're talking about the classic accessories, you're talking about classic clothes. These are the goods whereby at this time of the moment, most of individuals or most of the people, they will not tend to waste their money buying this type of goods, because all that is needed at this moment, it is survival during the time of the quarantine, so as to contain the coronavirus. Aspects number two, the shift of the supply side or change in supply. From an economic term, it is an increase or decrease in quantity supplied due to change in other factor affecting supply but not price. These factors can also include government tax, can include peace and security, can include technology, and etc. So on our current situation with the coronavirus being existing within our communities, we are having two scenarios also: an increase in supply for the inferior goods, and we are having a decrease in supply of luxurious goods. Inferior goods, as you know, I've already explained. So at this type of the moment, the suppliers or the producers will tend to produce more and more of inferior goods because they are highly demanded within the market, and most of the people are purchasing a lot of inferior goods at this time of the moment, so as they help them to survive. So individuals, they'll opt to buy more food supplies and home supplies like sanitizers, like the rice, they'll buy tomatoes, they'll buy this cheap staple food, so as they can be ready to be in the quarantine for a long time. And luxurious goods, most of the producers or the supply, they'll see the luxurious good not be highly demanded in the market, because people at this moment, they don't opt to buy luxurious good, because what is needed is survival. So luxurious cars will stay in the market and not be demanded. It might take even more than 1 month or 2 months. You cannot see grow or an increase in luxurious good, because people already shift to the inferior goods. So those are the changes that's gonna happen on the supply side. The last aspect, it is the global economic recession. From an economic term, we see recession as an economic or business cycle that has the character of a downfall or decline in economic activities, decline in investment, incomes, unemployment, effective demand, the drop down of the living standard of the people. This occurs, or recession occurs, after a huge drop down in spending or willingness to spend of the people within an economy. There are a variety of factors and theories that explain the trigger of recession in an economy, but on our case, the current economic global recession occurred due to anthropogenic disaster, which is the pandemic outbreak, the coronavirus, and psychological factor. When you talk about psychological factor, has contributed much, because after the outbreak of this pandemic disease, people change the behavior of spending by predicting the future trend of the economy. A lot of people, thus include investors, entrepreneurs, businessmen and women, some firms, they took action to withhold their saving, to withhold their money, and not prefer to invest in an economy due to unforeseen event of the economy. People, they start predicting what's gonna happen after 2 weeks after the lockdown, what's gonna happen after a few months, how the economy will it be, the economic. So people, they took action to predict the future. That's okay, maybe after 2 weeks we might not having a good form of economic activity in the economy. Maybe the drop down of economic activity will take place. So all the investors, entrepreneurs, and other businessmen and women, they prefer not to invest at this time of the moment and tend to withhold their money and their saving until in the future, when the time is okay, when the coronavirus has been contained worldwide. So the fear of a downfall of business activity in the future, it tend to make investors and other businessmen and women not to spend, which means there is a huge drop down of spending within an economy, which leads to a global economic recession at this time of the moment. So that's it, guys. Thank you for listening. This is the first part, the introduction part of this topic, the coronavirus versus the economy. So please listen to other part or other episode of this topic, the coronavirus versus the economy. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, because there is more and more things I'm bringing to you, so you can understand. If you're a businessman, if you're a businesswoman, if you're running any type of business within your economy or within your country, this channel, it is very right place for you to gain some knowledge of economy and of different markets. Thank you.